This 2025 Rangers team makes me long for a time machine. Oh, look, I just found one.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked on the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Patrick, a criminally addicted Texas Rangers fan, covering this team for 12 seasons, including all 7 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank you all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If you're not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Patrick. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way you can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, on today's show, I'm actually not going to talk about this game. I could talk about Patrick Corbin being just routed for 5 runs, the 3-run homer he gave up to the literal child in Jackson Holiday. I could talk about Dane Dunning being not great. I could talk about which one of the 3 singles would you like me to talk about that this Rangers team hit, because that was the entirety of their offense in this one. But no, playing the Baltimore Orioles reminds me of a simpler time, a time when the Rangers could hit baseballs, they could score runs, they could win baseball games. So instead of talking about this ugly, boring, no good, very bad, just like every other freaking game this year game, I'm going to go back in time and bring you the old episode. The episode I did right after the Texas Rangers swept those young up-and-coming 101-win Baltimore Orioles in the ALDS to head to the ALCS, where they would beat the Astros and then beat the Diamondbacks for their first ever World Series championship. Because I want to remind you that occasionally the Texas Rangers in the past have been very fun, because right now they definitely are not. Now here's a time machine transporting you back to October of 2023. Back when the Texas Rangers could actually hit baseballs. Now, the Texas Rangers are going to the ALCS, where they will face off either against those stinking Houston Astros or the Minnesota Twins. The Astros are up 2-1 right now in that series. They'll play game 4 tomorrow, but I don't give a crap about them. This is about the Texas freaking Rangers kicking butt, taking names, taking no shade from anybody, no hating. Does not matter who hates on this team. Doesn't matter who they face off against. They will kick your freaking teeth in, and they will make you watch as those teeth go crumbling to the ground, as do your hopes of winning a playoff series, let alone a playoff game. The Rangers are 5-0. 5-0 in their playoff tenure under Bruce freaking Bochy. My goodness, this guy might be an absolute sorcerer. Like, I'm pretty sure that he is casting some kind of amazing spell over this team. That's my most rational thought as to why this is happening. I mean, it's the only thing that rationally makes sense in my head, other than the fact that this team is just really freaking good. Like, this lineup is incredible. The starting pitching, incredible. The bullpen, it exists, and Jose Leclerc is in it, and he is very freaking good to get you out of jams that Aroldis Chapman might put you into, but it doesn't freaking matter, because the Rangers left no doubt in this one, starting with a a first inning home run by Corey Seager. Those cowards finally pitched to Corey Seager, and he made them regret it. The pitch that he homered on wasn't even a bad pitch by Dean Kremer. Not a bad pitch at all. But then here comes the Rangers in their big inning in the second, putting up a 5 spot with Nasty Nate being as nasty as he's ever been in a Texas Rangers uniform in this one. 5 hits, just 1 run that was earned, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Again, 7 innings of 1-run ball from Nasty Nate in the clincher. But this offense, I mean, just absolutely unheard of. And, you know, Corey Seager, again, gets intentionally walked for Mitch Garver, 3-hole hitter. And what does he do? He comes through with a big 2 RBI double to get the Rangers a couple of runs and runners at second and third, with the Rangers up 3-0. You thought, okay, this is nice. You got Nathan Eovaldi on the hill. You're feeling pretty good. And up comes Adolis freaking Garcia. Of course, did anyone have any doubt that man was going to blow the absolute roof off of this new stadium? Oh my goodness, what a tomahawk home run by him in the clutch, in the big moments, to give the Rangers a 6-0 lead where Nasty Nate would just go out and go to town with it. Oh my God. This offense, this team, everything about them is clicking in the biggest way at the biggest time. And I could not be happier for all of them. And oh, by the way, speaking of guys who seem to be clicking at the right time, Nathaniel Lowe getting in there with a highly hit home run. Shout out to Nathaniel Lowe, who has been in a slump, and he had some of the best at bats of the day, including that second inning. The second inning, I mean, he really got to Dean Kremer. I mean, he made him throw 15 pitches in an at bat and a hard hit line drive that ended up being an out, but 15 pitches. And this guy has been really going through it. I mean, we know he's been having some struggles in his personal life. His mom is diagnosed with cancer, and she is fighting and couldn't be there at his games against his brother in Tampa Bay. Best to Wendy Lowe and the entire Lowe family, but I mean, it's got to weigh on him. But this guy is fighting through. He is persevering. He is giving you these kind of at bats. He's been dropped down to the 7-hole in the lineup, and heck, he's the best 7-hole hitter in the history of any lineup in baseball, coming through with that huge home run. You could just see the relief on his face, the relief on the face of his teammates in the dugout. They love this guy. Everybody loves this guy, and no one's more upset about his struggles than he is. And you can get Nathaniel Lowe going in the 7 spot in your order. And oh, by the way, he's sandwiched with a couple of all-stars in that lineup. And oh, below him and below the all-star you have hitting 8th in your lineup is Leody freaking Taveras, who did have an O from this one, but still hitting 263 in the postseason, playing some pretty darn good defense in center field. I mean, my God, this team, this is what I have been saying about this freaking team for months, and people didn't want to believe it. I mean, national writers didn't really believe it. They kind of bought into it for a little bit, but once this team went on a slump because they had 3 all-stars on the IL, everyone thought, oh well, this team's done. Actually, they were never that good. Actually, that offense that was the best in baseball for the first couple months of the season, actually that was fraudulent and cannot be sustained. They're actually not that great. Actually, that's a lie. This offense is absolutely sensational. They are putting together exceptional at bats. They are grinding you down. They are doing everything you need to do to win a playoff series. And I mean, even if somehow the bullpen had blown a 6-run lead in a 2-inning span, which I was honestly a little worried about with how Aroldis Chapman kind of struggled in there, it would not matter because the Rangers made this Orioles pen use everybody. I mean, they got an inning and 2/3 out of Dean Kremer. That's a combined what, 2, 3 1/3 innings out of their number 2, game 2 and game 3 starters that they got, and they couldn't even get 5 innings out of their ace, Kyle Bradish, which actually they probably could have if they left him in a little bit longer. But they had to go to Tyler Wells. They had to go to Kyle Gibson. They had to go to DL Hall. They went to Yennier Cano. I mean, they used everybody in this one, and they would have been really up against it, the Orioles, is if they ended up managing to push it to a game 4, which would have been maybe a little bit nerve-wracking. It would have been Martin Perez, but it does not freaking matter. Oh, by the way, now the Rangers have their own off days for the next few days heading into the ALCS against either Houston or against Minnesota. I think the Rangers will be the road team in both of those series, even though they had a better record than Minnesota. I think that it comes down to the seeding. The Minnesota Twins, since they won their division, somehow get to be the 3 seed. And because the Rangers didn't, even though they had a significantly better record, they have to be the 5 seed. I don't understand it either, but you know what? It is what it is. At this point, it does not matter. The Rangers will go win on the road. They will go win at home. They will go win in Minnesota. They will go win in Houston. They do not care. This Rangers team is not the same team that faced either Houston or Minnesota. I don't think you can take a single freaking thing from any of those series because that's not what this Rangers team right now is completely different from the Rangers team. They are hitting with runners in scoring position. They are hitting for average. They are grinding you down, wearing down your starting pitchers. It doesn't matter if it's Grayson Rodriguez. It doesn't matter if it's Framber Valdez or Justin Verlander or Sonny Gray or Pablo Lopez on the hill. It does not matter. This Rangers team is going to grind you into dirt, make you go into your bullpen in the 3rd inning in multiple games. I mean, in the 2nd inning, in back-to-back games. And it doesn't matter how deep your pen is, the Rangers are going to get to them. It doesn't matter how good your pitchers are, the Rangers are going to get to them. They're going to embarrass them, and they are going to freaking win. Oh, and the starting pitching is going to do enough to keep him in, and the bullpen is going to do enough to keep him in. I mean, we even saw the Rangers win a close game, holding on to a late lead in game one of this series. I mean, is there anything this Rangers team can't do right now? I think the answer is emphatically no. This is the best this team has looked all season. This is the best this team has honestly maybe ever looked in franchise history. My goodness, the depth of everything clicking right now is just honestly a little overwhelming in a good way. Coming up, we're going to talk about Nasty Nate, the importance of him, and why I do not care about any single hater for the rest of time. This show is brought to you by Rugiet. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Ready. Rugiet Ready is the next generation prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rugiet's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and it kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Rugiet might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. Head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnMLB and use code LockedOnMLB to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnMLB and use promo code LockedOnMLB for 15% off. Now, shout out to the everydayers for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. On tomorrow's show, I'll be back talking a little bit about maybe if we know the Rangers' opponent, maybe it'll be a All Texas Silver Boot ALCS, but you can catch every pitch of the Rangers ALCS, whoever they're facing, on SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search Rangers. Now, the Rangers got 6 runs from their offense early on in this one. They added on a 7th one just for good measure in the 6th, but it did not need to be that good because Nasty Nate was as nasty as ever in this one. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, no walks, 7 strikeouts, and the velocity was back to what we saw at peak Nate Eovaldi. I mean, absolutely sensational, maxing out at 98.5 miles an hour on the fastball, averaging 95.8, up 0.7 miles per hour from his yearly average, which was dragged down significantly because he was basically rehabbing at the major league level for the last month of the season. The Rangers probably could have used him going down to the minor leagues, but they needed every out they could get from all of their starters. And, they got everything from Nathan Eovaldi. And Chapman, kind of did his job in this one, got a couple outs, but again was shaky. It feels like every big clutch situation with Aroldis Chapman on the hill. I mean, this was a 7-1 game, and it did not feel like a 6-run lead for the Texas Rangers because here comes Chapman. He's got some occasional nastiness, but he's also got quite a bit of wildness, and he had to bring in Jose Leclerc in the 8th inning to get 1 out, which he did. Thank the good Lord before it got any more nerve-wracking, and a really, really great at-bat by Jose Leclerc facing off against, of course, Aaron Hicks, who had just gotten to him in game 2 with that 3-run homer in a game that should not have ended that close. But it did. And Leclerc threw a lot of pitches to get work. And this was his 4th game, or his 3rd game in 4 days. Had to throw 14 pitches in this one. Thankfully, all the high leverage spots, all the high leverage pitches were in that one at bat against Aaron Hicks. But he came up, he got the out, he got the weak contact to, I believe it was first base, to cover the bag at first base and get the out. Then gets the strikeout to close it out. One of the more iconic performances by a Rangers closer in quite some time. Maybe the most I've trusted a Rangers closer in years. Honestly, it has been so long since there has been a closer that I have trusted this much in the big spots in the postseason. I mean, he is basically embodying, Neftali Feliz vibes. Like, just still looks like such a young kid. He's not young, not anymore. And you better believe they are picking up that $6.5 million option for next year. He turns 30 in January, or not January, in December of this year, about a week before Christmas. And I hope the Rangers are going to get him a very nice Christmas present, especially if he is closing out games in the ALCS, which I think he just might be doing. But Jose Leclerc, finding it after all year, having all of these struggles, after the years and years it seems like it's been for him to finally get fully healthy. I mean, he's fully healthy. He is looking like the best version that he has ever looked of himself. I mean, tonight the cutter was up 3 miles an hour. The fastball velocity was up 2.5 miles an hour from the yearly average. And this was game 3 in 4 days for Leclerc. It did not faze him at all, not in the slightest. He did not care. He was amped up to go out there. He was amped up with the slider, amped up with the four seamer, amped up with the sinker and the cutter and the everything. The dude was nails, and he is making me trust a closer in this bullpen. In this bullpen that has blown lead after lead after lead all year round. They went through one phase of Will Smith being absolutely sensational, and he is completely fallen off a cliff. They went through a time where they thought maybe it's Aroldis Chapman. That was not a long-lived thing, but here comes Jose freaking Leclerc shutting it down, being nails, being trustworthy, staying in the strike zone, not being erratic. My goodness, what a redemption arc for Jose freaking Leclerc. He lost the closer job in May after that series against the Reds. He came into camp as a Rangers closer, and then, well, here you are after an entire year. Oh, here we are. Jose Leclerc is back and in these high leverage roles, and he has been absolutely sensational. I know he did give up the 3-run home run to Aaron Hicks in game 2, but I don't care. Occasionally closers give up bombs. Occasionally they blow leads, but for the most part in this postseason, he has pitched in every postseason game that the Rangers have played this year, and he has been really darn good in all of them, and the Rangers have won all of them, and that is really what matters most. I mean, I'm a big numbers and analytics guy, but occasionally you got to throw that stuff out of the window, and Bruce Bochy seems to have done that in trusting Jose Leclerc to be his closer. I mean, but the numbers are backing it up. I mean, they are backing up what Jose Leclerc is doing. They have been pretty darn good overall this season, but this team coming through in the clutch time and time again. I mean, just the huge performances from Seager, from Adolis Garcia, from Nathaniel Lowe, from Nate Eovaldi, from Jose Leclerc. This team is peaking at the absolute right time. And this is the stuff that teams who win it all do. This is what they do. They put it together at the right time. They have everything, or at least enough clicking at the right time to go into places like Baltimore, like Tampa Bay, with those teams that were incredibly deep and stacked and really darn good. They beat these teams so bad. They got people complaining about changing the postseason. They got to change this format. It's unfair. These Rangers are just too darn good. All these lowly Rangers who only won 90 games and, were a tiebreaker away from actually finishing as a top seed. And maybe they were actually really good this entire time. We actually just couldn't reckon with it and grapple with it. And maybe we should do that. No, instead the discourse has been, oh, it's unfair for these teams to have a layoff. Well, I mean, Baltimore really, they got their butts kicked in this series, but in terms of a sweep, and a sweep where two of the games were kind of blowouts, it kind of felt pretty close. I mean, this Baltimore team is young and fun and good, and they won 101 games in a really tough division, and a division that has not won a playoff game in the last 2 years, partially because they ran into a freaking buzzsaw of the Texas Rangers, two of those teams. And well, the Blue Jays just seem to have been fraudulent, or maybe just the Twins are really good. I want to give more credit to the Twins because all the complaining that I did about people not giving credit to the Rangers being good. So I will just say that the Twins are actually really darn good. And so are the Texas freaking Rangers, who have not lost a playoff game since 2016. Imagine cheering for a team that's lost a playoff game in the last 5 years. Couldn't be me cheering for a poverty franchise that loses playoff games. Hope this doesn't come back to bite me in like 3 days. But hey, for right now, the Rangers are undefeated. The sky is the limit. No, the stratosphere is the limit. No, the next universe is the limit. There is no limit at this point for things that are going right for these Texas Rangers. And it seems like things might just be getting even better once they get to the ALCS. But I think they might just have a boost coming to their rotation in a freaking future Hall of Famer coming back and being ready. We're going to talk about that and this playoff format nonsense and why it does not matter in the slightest. This show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where do my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you stop just managing your money and you start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and I save more. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Shout out to the Everydayers for making Locked On Rangers first listen every single day. On Thursday's show, I'll be talking. Maybe by then, we'll actually know who the Rangers are playing in the ALCS, but it does not freaking matter because you can catch every pitch with the ALCS no matter who the Rangers are playing because the Rangers are playing in the ALCS on SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search Rangers. Now, the Rangers got some good news today. It seems like the Rangers could be having some reinforcements in their starting rotation. They are not going to have to go probably with a piggyback game of Andrew Heaney and Dane Dunning in game one of the ALCS. Max Scherzer, according to Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic in his daily newsletter, The Windup, he was talking about the potential add of Max Scherzer. He threw 92 to 94 in a live batting practice session on Saturday. He also had another bullpen session on Sunday, and it didn't go particularly well, but not because of the injury, but because he had a stomach bug. And they were thinking that they didn't want to add him to the roster because there was no way that he would pitch any sooner than game 4. And at that point, he'd only give them, 1 or 2 innings. And at that point, it didn't really feel like it would be worth it. But John Gray, who is now available to be active for the ALCS because he has been on the IL long enough, it seems like he is going to be pretty much ready to go with that. I believe it was a forearm injury that put him on the IL and made him miss his final start after being healthy for the most of the season. But, it turns out the Rangers didn't need Max Scherzer. They didn't need Jacob deGrom. They didn't need John Gray. They're going to need, 2 of those guys, at least one of those guys in the ALCS, no matter who they're facing. I would be kind of tentatively okay with Dane Dunning going out there, having the Andrew Heaney, Dane Dunning combo for one game in these playoffs. Unfortunately, the Rangers couldn't get as much rest in their ALDS, appearances as the NLDS because TV, and they wanted to give an extra day in between games 1 and 2 for the NLDS so that they could space out the TV days as opposed to just spacing out everything else differently. They had to give the NLDS people a way to start their number 1 starter in game 1 and 4 without having to go on short rest because, I don't know, that feels like more of an advantage than having a long layoff or a short layoff. And just the discourse in this has been so toxic. And oh my God, just of the a million different things that I could have to point out what was wrong with this Fox broadcast. The just unbridled, this is unfair, this is whatever, this is fluky by, the guy in charge, old Johnny Boy, talking about, if the Rangers and Orioles played this series, 10 more times, it would go very differently the other night. Well, yeah, that's how things work, but it didn't. Guess what? It freaking didn't. You know what? These other teams that had long layoffs that got their butts kicked, they should have tried winning games. Huh? That's the way to do it. Oh, you have a long layoff? Oh, you're tired? Oh, you're out of rhythm? How about you just try winning? Huh? You ever thought of that? No, they didn't. The Orioles didn't think of that. The Rays didn't think of that because the Rangers swept both of them. And you know what? Who cares? All the talk was laughing at this Texas Ranger team for having the audacity to celebrate on Saturday night of the regular season. And that's the only reason why the Rangers offense got blanked, not because, Logan Gilbert was amazing in game 162. No. There's no credit due to the other team. It's just blame on the Texas Rangers. Well, you know what? I don't care who gives this Texas Rangers team credit because I'm giving them credit because Rangers fans who have watched this team all year know to give them credit. The other teams in the playoffs know how good this Texas Rangers team is and deserve and will be giving them credit and respect and, will maybe be beaten by them. Maybe one team will end up getting one game off the Rangers in these playoffs, or maybe not. Maybe the Rangers will just go 2-0 in the wild card, 3-0 in the ALDS, 4-0 in the ALCS, and 4-0 in the World Series. And will be whining and complaining about, well, these juggernaut teams, oh, they're supposed to be baby. No, that's the last team. Those are the last people on earth who want these excuses for them. Is these teams that are getting their butts beat? They'll be the first ones to tell you. They'll be the first ones to tell you that we just lost. We should have tried being better. We should have won, and we didn't. And that's how baseball goes. Sometimes the best teams, the juggernaut, unstoppable machines, don't win it all. Also, look at these teams that are maybe losing, maybe going to get swept, or already did get swept at these juggernaut 100 plus win teams. The Dodgers have, one, maybe not even really one good pitcher. I mean, Clayton Kershaw is generational and I love him to death, but he is not right now. And they've got a bunch of rookies in the rotation and Lance Lynn, who is the home run king of pitchers. And he's probably going for game 3 for them. And if it's not him, then it's going to be some other rookie starter who is up against an innings limit, probably over their innings limit from years past, and pitching in their postseason debut. They've got a great lineup. They've got 2 MVP candidates at the top of their lineup, and they've got a lot more depth in that lineup than people think. But they're flawed. They've got a really good bullpen to make up for when their starters poop the bed, but they're flawed. The Atlanta Braves have 1.5 healthy pitchers. They've got the best lineup that maybe we've ever seen in the history of baseball, and their bullpen is okay. I mean, Iglesias is pretty fine as a closer. They got some other guys who've got some stuff, but they're facing off against a really good Phillies team. And there was a lot of pearl clutching and moaning and nonsense about, oh, well, these juggernaut Braves, they should have simply gotten, a bigger advantage. What more advantage could you give them? They had a whole week to rest their game 2 starter in Max Fried to get him off the IL. And I know he didn't pitch super great, but if it wasn't for that, I mean, they've got several other pitchers that are hurt. And sometimes this happens. It happened to the Rangers in 2012. It happened to the Rangers in 2010, where I don't think that the 2010 San Francisco Giants had a better baseball team than the Texas Rangers, but they beat them, and they beat them handily in the World Series. I think the Rangers had a better team in 2011 than the St. Louis Cardinals, but they lost. They couldn't get the job done. And in 2012, I think that's the best Rangers team we've seen maybe in franchise history up until maybe this year. And they lost. In the final week of the season, they lost the division, and then they lost in the 1-game wild card to freaking Joe Saunders and the Baltimore Orioles. Sometimes that's the way baseball goes. Sometimes the juggernauts do succeed and prevail and make it all the way to the World Series and win it all. Sometimes they don't. And that's okay. And it's not an indictment on the baseball playoff format. Heck, it's not an indictment on baseball in general. It's just how it happens sometimes. And unless you want to go back to the 1910s where, there was no interleague and, there was before television and before all kinds of other stuff. And, there was just 2 teams that made it to the playoffs every year, then you can go do that. But if you want to keep raking in all of this TV revenue, if you want to keep raking in all of these amazing postseason moments, or, postseason sweeps where the Rangers just kick everybody's butts and everybody outside of Rangers fans are sad and Rangers fans are really happy, then this is what you live with. This is how it goes sometimes. And you know what? It doesn't matter. And no one's going to be policing the Rangers' celebration of heading to the ALCS. Thankfully, we at least are hopefully past that. Or maybe we're not, and we'll see a bunch of tryhards saying, oh, actually, don't celebrate until you won the whole thing, and then only celebrate a little bit, and then go get your nose to the grindstone and go do it again next year. No, screw that. This team is happy. This team is fun. They are singing Creed in the locker room. They're playing Creed on the broadcast. They got the stadium rocking, the fans behind it. The first playoff game at Globe Life Field is a win, and a blowout win. The Texas Rangers are undefeated at Globe Life Field in the playoffs. They are undefeated in the playoffs under Bruce Bochy. Corey Seager has never lost a playoff game with the Texas Rangers. Neither has Marcus Semien. Neither has 21-year-old Evan freaking Carter. Neither has Mitch Garver, 3-hole hitter who gets to stay in the lineup because he hit a grand slam. And Bruce Bochy said that was some rule that he thought up years ago. Well, it's a great rule. He should have just been in the lineup anyway. but he's there now, and I don't think he's ever coming out. I don't think Evan Carter is ever going to be hitting ninth in the lineup ever again. And hopefully we're not going to be seeing Josh Young hitting eighth in the lineup, but even if he is, it's more of a statement of how incredibly, insanely talented this lineup and this team is. This team was World Series favorites as recently as yesterday, according to FanDuel and many other sites and places. And they might be favorites again tomorrow. Probably will be, because they're the only team that has wrapped up their berth in the division or the league championship series. And you know what? If they are, that's fine, because I know the Rangers don't give a crap about it. They are not worried about being the favorites. They're just worried about which Creed song they're going to play. And if they can take us higher and higher to the playoffs, they have taken us to the ALCS. And you know what? The World Series is next, and maybe winning the whole dang thing. I don't care who these Rangers face. And you know what? I was kind of terrified of it earlier. Maybe this is insanity, but bring on the Houston Astros, bring on the Minnesota Twins. I don't care who it is. This team is as good as anybody in baseball, and they beat the absolute snot out of the two teams that we thought were the best teams in baseball for months and months and months out of the season. Two teams that were incredibly consistent and good and deep and talented at all kinds of different things of winning the things you need to do to win baseball games. They had Kevin Cash, the brilliant tactician. They had Gunnar Henderson, the rookie of the year, and this young core that's, going to be way better than everybody else for the future of the bright future of the Baltimore Orioles is going to be so much brighter than everybody else as well. The Texas Rangers future is pretty darn bright, because they got Corey Seager playing here for the next 8 seasons. They got Marcus Semien for another half decade. They got more than another half decade of Evan Carter and Josh Young and Leody Taveras, and Adolis Garcia is going to be here for quite a while. And oh, by the way, they're about to get some reinforcements, hopefully in the form of Max Scherzer and John Gray. And even if they don't freaking need them, because whoever is on this roster can play, they can ball, they can hit, they can come up in the clutch moments, they can kick your freaking face in, and they don't care what you have to say about it, about anything about them. They don't care if you give them credit. They don't care if you give them blame. They don't care if you want to whine about the format of a playoff series or celebrations or Creed music or whatever you want to complain about. They don't give a crap about what anybody thinks besides themselves, which is the biggest point in their favor that I think I could possibly ever give a team. They have been through the highest highs, the lowest lows, and they have come through it, and they are in the ALCS. The job is not done yet. They are not satisfied yet. They're going to have at least they have this celebration. Maybe they'll have one more. Maybe they'll have two more. Maybe we'll be planning a championship parade for the Texas Rangers for the first time in franchise history. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I know this team is as good as we thought they were at any point in this season. They are peaking at the perfect freaking time. God bless the Texas Rangers, the absolute juggernaut killers, and bring on the next juggernaut, because I want them all. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank y'all so much for listening and subscribing. And until next time, don't forget to enjoy ALCS Texas Rangers baseball.